Facebook Friday. I am so happy to see the rain as much as I am okay with the snow. It was a free car wash. Come on. So I hope you're staying dry out there. Today, what I want to lead in with, because I didn't have any questions, you people need to be sending me questions. So for our Berkshire Times, I do an article in there in every episode. No, every, the heck's that thing called? Issue. Every issue. There is an Ask Vicki column. So you can send in questions to me about general, not really reading questions, but about intuition, about life guidance, or whatever you're thinking about. And I may use them anonymously in the article, but I'll also address them here. So if you would get on that, that'd be great. So, but this week, what I thought I would talk about is my version of what the ego is. So from a intuitive perspective and from the place that I come in coaching and all of that, I don't take obviously a therapeutic background on what the ego is. I take what my feeling is. So I have always felt that the ego is the human element of us, and that the soul, that is the eternal, is coming in, and we're meeting up with the human part of us, that's the ego, in order to use both of them to our best ability. And I honestly think it gets blown out of proportion a little bit, that I've been hearing a lot lately, oh, but that's my ego saying that. Oh, but that's my ego. Well, honey, you are your ego. You're human. So I feel like maybe a balanced approach would be to appreciate this aspect of us. Because, so here's where Vicki goes with her visualizations, right? I feel like the ego is like this. Well, first of all, I think it's adorable. It, to me, looks like one of those creatures from Inside Out or something, right? It's this little blobby thing that is 90% pretty freaking amazing. And then it's got a little appendix that's a little, I don't know, like an annoying little sibling or something that can poke and that can create challenges for us. It's where we're paying attention to that I feel like is the most important. So, for instance, if somebody is throwing crap at you in a relationship and they're saying you're a know-it-all and egomaniac, oh, I love that one. I've been called that one. And know-it-all too. Yeah, I've been called that too. So if they're throwing all that stuff at you, you may want to consider compassionately, don't come back at it, because that would be you responding from that little appendix part in your ego. Understand that that's where they're coming from, is from fear and maybe not knowing that when someone else is doing well or providing insight or anything like that, that they can be coming from a very loving place. It's not all do this, say this, and all of that. So for the ego part, that's largely this big. It's kind of like, for me, like the subconscious, unconscious, right? Or conscious and subconscious, where we live most of our lives in the subconscious until we choose to be conscious, until we choose to be present in what's going on in our lives, and until we choose to have accountability for what we've said or done or even thought sometimes. So I feel like the ego is similar, right? You have this portion of you that's human, that's 80, 90% pretty amazing. And we have this one part that's, or 10%, that's a poop. So if you start paying attention and you acknowledge that this larger part of me is what gets me to sign up for a class, or to ask that person out, to step out in business, to sign up for a race, go on vacation, all these things that we think we're doing as a matter of growth, but we don't give that human element of us any respect, really. And then there's this part that says, who do you think you are? Don't do that. You'll never be a success at that. Or any other, you won't hit an 11-minute mile. You can't. Keep at it. You will. And that's the part that I feel like we have to maybe treat like it's a 3-year-old that needs a snack and a nap. If you look at it with compassion and say, why are you saying that to me? So you would be saying this internally. Why am I saying that to myself? Why am I talking to me that way? How can I support the side of me that is brave and courageous and ready to try new things in the world? Why can't I communicate with that aspect of me? And you can. It takes courage, but that comes from that larger part. And then this smaller part that is giving you feedback from other experiences and from maybe messages received in childhood. It can be healed and it can be encouraged to come in and embrace that part of you that really does and can achieve greatness. And I feel like most of us are not going to get that really big fat head so we won't fit through the door, right? We can start speaking to ourselves more compassionately and believing in ourselves. It doesn't take away from someone else. If somebody's shooting that stuff at you, more than likely they're doing the 3-to-1 ratio. You point your finger at someone else, 3 pointing back. Think of that when you're doing it too. Who are you pointing fingers at? Be in that place where you have conscious thought, conscious feeling, and then you're supporting the human element of you that came to explore, expand, and then, yes, give back. So often I encourage people to begin a dialogue with that side of them so that they get used to hearing compliments. And they get used to hearing you can do it from a place of really believing in it. And yeah, I feel like we're all responsible for paying attention to when we slip into that lower vibrational frequency, which is, anger, frustration, resentment, any of those that kind of feel, ugh. And to encourage ourselves or bring ourselves up into that space of encouraging for us, encouraging for others, joy, love, and on up the frequency scale. So I hope when you hear the word or you hear the phrase coming from your head, I want more for me, but that's my ego speaking, you go, yeah, damn straight it is. That's the ego that is helping me to show up to the exercise class. That's the part of me that sings a song no matter who's listening. And that's really pretty cool. And then maybe you can encourage in other people. And then maybe we can stop vilifying this amazing aspect of us that is here to expand humanity. And yes, some people can run away with it, but maybe they're not aware that they don't have to be in anger or resentment or fear of other people because they're okay as themselves. So if you have someone in your life who accuses you of having a fat ego or doesn't want you to grow, you have to do some weeding and decide that you want to, ready? I'm going to get corny here. Exit that way of thinking. Come on, it's perfect. Yeah, use it. So my message to you this week would be to visit that part of you and see where are you falling. What are your ratios? Some people may only have an appendix that's in charge, and some people may be the whole flippin' blob. You have to decide for yourself. Do not go out there assigning percentages to other people, because that would be your little appendix judging and talking about their ego. Okay. I know we can live without the appendix. We cannot live without our ego. We have to learn to appreciate this about ourselves if we're going to move humanity forward. That's my personal perception. Yes, there's wiring, and yes, there's layers and everything that have happened, but we don't have to be stuck there. We don't have to be in the, disease process of not thinking kindly to ourselves. So I must scoot and get to my next session. Please send in any ideas, any questions, anything that you have. I'm Amy. I'm glad that this resonates with you right now. And it was nice to see you the other night in the store. And I hope it's helped others. I do have the vision board class coming up February 10th, which has some openings, and the intuitive group starting in February has some openings. The rest are sold out. So I wish you the best of weekends and beyond. And let's have some cute conversations with that ego. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.